Snake Eyes is finally getting his own solo film, and it's starring Henry Golding. He's one of the best G.I. Joe characters, so it's gotta be amazing. And sadly, I walked out thinking this movie was just fine. I got that badass poster, though. I mean, that thing's awesome. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing Snake Eyes, once again starring Henry Golding as the mysterious lone fighter known only as Snake Eyes. Now, welcome into and trained by the ancient Japanese ninja clan, but finds his loyalties being tested when secrets from his past are revealed, as he eventually goes on his path to become the famous G.I. Joe hero. Now, G.I. Joe, I always played with the action figures. I'm not that versed when it comes to the actual lore, or even in general some of the comics and shows, and really much the only thing I've ever really much experienced with these two original G.I. Joe movies that came out way back in the day, and those were not great. I think there's some fun aspects to them, but again, not great at all. And I was really hoping that this one would be the tide that goes, dude, this is going to be the game changer. It's going to be awesome, it's going to be fun, and you're going to have a blast with it. And there is some fun to be had in this movie. But I did walk out of this movie feeling very disappointed, and I really just walked out going, this should have been better. And, I love action movies, and I really like samurai movies and ninja movies and all sorts of things like that. And this one should have checked off a ton of boxes, and I really felt like it missed the mark in a lot of those. Before we get any further, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys love talking movies, because I'm sure if you're here, you probably do love talking movies just as much as I do. So make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts, as well as make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis. Let's just get my pros right out of the way, and one of the biggest things I gotta say is Henry Golding owns this role. While yes, they do change some of the stuff with Snake Eyes origin stories and just in general the character that I really wasn't the biggest fan of, especially from what I can remember of the lore, because this is actually one of the only characters that I actually am a major fan of. But when it comes down to Henry Golding's performance in this role, in this character specifically, he brings that charismatic charm, but he also brings this new badass and also stoic nature to him that we haven't seen from him before, and I actually really dug it in this role, as well as the rest of the cast for what they are given. There are some memorable moments in here, some newcomers that I've honestly never seen before in film, and they do great, and some familiar faces that if you're fans of action films, you're probably going to sit there and be like, I love that actor. He's going to be a badass, and he is. And they all have standout moments that make them memorable, and I can give that to that. Again, I don't think the characters are well written, especially a couple that I'm just like, why did you even put them in the movie? Actually, I know why you did, but in general, they do as much as they can with it. This is really much Henry Golding's story. And also, when I went to this movie, I was expecting some awesome action sequences, because from the trailer, there were some impressive stunts in there. I gotta say, there's some decent ones in here. Not all of them are great, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, but there was some nice stunts in here where I was going like, alright, that's badass. Okay, that's badass. And in fact, all the training stuff with Snake Eyes was probably some of my favorite aspects of the movie, because I do like those montages, those training, to see how they can get to where they should be on the level of these other ninja warriors that we are seeing. And seeing Snake Eyes' origin story in that part was nice. It was awesome to see, and that was some of my favorite elements of this, because those smaller moments, while the dialogue isn't great, and some of it is a little bit cringy and eye-rolling, those moments in particular made me satisfied, and I liked, again, those smaller bits. Now let's move on to my mixed aspects, and one of the things in the middle of this all that I really just couldn't get over was some of the action in here is just god awful. Some of the stuff in the early parts of this, I was watching and I was starting to get a headache. It's so shaky to the point it's just not satisfying. It does feel like you are literally being punched in the face trying to follow what choreograph is going on. And I absolutely, if you followed my channel for a while, you know I hate that unless they can film it good, and they did not do it well here. I can understand the style they were going for, but the beginning of this film seems like they were filming a completely different movie. They changed the style and it kind of made it a little bit better, but still, while there were memorable moments, nothing that really completely stuck out to me where I was like, okay, that's so amazing, like this is making up for it. The beginning completely set me off in a wrong way, and again, it started to give me a little bit of a headache. At least as when the film started going on, it got a little bit better, and maybe it was because he's like starting to actually learn. The beginning of the film, he's fighting a little bit more like a street fighter in a sense, and then towards the back half, he's actually like fighting like a ninja. And the camera's actually getting some of the choreographed stuff in there and not just shaking the damn thing all around. But even then, I really expected a lot more from the action, and I did not get it all the way. There are some decent moments, but nothing that very felt memorable to me. I think that's where it comes down to, is this movie just doesn't feel memorable. I wouldn't even go as far as say that it's the best G.I. Joe movie or the worst. It has some of the best aspects of the last two, but it also has some of the worst aspects of the last two. And when I'm going into this, the whole time I was watching this movie, I was just going, this could have been a more simple story, a revenge story of a sense for Snake Eyes. Becoming this character, we could have seen the training, given him the suit, and then gone on his journey. I think it would have just been awesome to see Snake Eyes go on a revenge mission on this badass tale that he needs to do, and by the end, you know, he becomes the G.I. Joe hero we know. And I think that a more, again, simple story would have fit this movie way better. There is a lot that bogs this movie down, and a lot that really holds up the runtime, and little things that it just tries to build up the G.I. Joe world and Cobra. Like, they are trying so hard that, hey, don't forget, we are a G.I. Joe movie, and if we do get a sequel, the next one will be a full-fledged G.I. Joe film. In fact, there are characters that show up in here. Samara Weaving, one of the best actresses working right now, is playing a character in here from the G.I. Joe universe. Awesome! Barely in the movie, just for some cool action sequences, and that's it. No character arc, no character development. I just sat there baffled by that. Again, it just feels like it's trying too hard to build up a world, when in general they should have built up this character and then maybe hinted at it at the very end of the film. I already mentioned something about his suit. Let's not even get into that. It's not even in the film. Like, it's barely in the movie, so if you're going in to see him fight in that badass suit, don't expect it. It's just stuff like that that frustrates me, because going into this could have been so good. You could have had the awesome action, you could have had the great story, or just a simple story in general, but it just felt very much lazy and haphazardly put together. In fact, the more that I started to think about this movie, the more I was a little bit disappointed by it, and the more frustrated I actually became from it. I liked the training stuff, I liked Henry Golding in the role, and I really liked almost every single one of the actors in the role. There just wasn't enough material given to them. I do feel like there is a good film in here, but there's a lot missing from here, and I feel like this movie should have been so much better. It's weird enough, I know there will be fans of this movie that go in here and enjoy it for what it is, but for me, I feel like this is a movie that you watch once and you just completely forget about it. Snake Eyes is not the terrible mess that I think some people will say it is, but it is a very frustrating one, because this movie should have been awesome. Again, as a one-time watch, you can watch it, you'll forget about it, you'll probably be frustrated like me, but you'll at least enjoy some aspects of it, and thank God Henry Golding literally, I think, saves the entire film from being a total train wreck. Some of the action in here is decent, but some of it also in the beginning gave me a headache. Story is way too far out there, and I think really much should have dove a little bit simpler. I get it's trying to build up the world, but we didn't need that in this first movie. And it really just felt like they were too ahead of thinking, hey, we need to make a universe. People want to see the G.I. Joe universe. And yes, people do want to see G.I. Joe live action, but they want to see good G.I. Joe films. And Snake Eyes is sadly not that. It's a frustrating mess that has a great leading performance and an okay time at the theaters. If you're looking forward to this, maybe give it a try, but I think you're going to walk out frustrated like I did. So with all that said, I'm going to give Snake Eyes a C-. Very much on the verge of giving it a C- and a D+, but I do think the D+ is a little bit too harsh, because Henry Golding is seriously awesome in this movie. And again, there was some fun to be had in here, but I think it's really much going to come down to you, how excited you were for it, how big of a G.I. Joe fan you are, what you're expecting from the movie. That's where it's going to come down to, and I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. So make sure to, again, to hit that like and subscribe button, comment down below your guys' thoughts, let me know what you guys thought about Snake Eyes. Should they continue this universe? Should they just do another spin-off and maybe do a different character? I want to hear it all down below, guys. Make sure to also head on over to Sam Shum Films on how to see films early, and of course, it's a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. It really makes me sad to like give this movie a bad review. Like, I really wanted to like this one, and I just feel like we deserve a little bit better, you know? Thank God for Henry Golding, though. Thank God for him. If you want to check out, I did another video talking about the top other 5 best films that he's ever been in. But guys, thank you once again for clicking on this. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts, and of course, until next time, stay classy.